what I was thinking is, I think the reason they're locking everything down is because they're scared of unrest. Like in New York, 20% of NYPD is out. And then we have this story, which I've mentioned several times. Check this out. Commercial burglaries soar since coronavirus emergency measures. New York Post says that commercial burglary in New York is up 75%.
Wow.
So let's think about this. We got
75%. That's a huge
almost
boost.
double.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's not.
It's not surprising.
But let's be real.
Jeez.
Commercial burglary during a lockdown is looting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Total looting.
For sure.
Definitely.
So I wonder if that's why the police have been extremely harsh, arresting people straight up. Like, they see you out, they're coming for you.
Yeah.
Because unrest is a coming, man.
Yeah, and there's stories from New York and California that they've reached the peak, starting to slow down. The hospitals are starting to report that it seems that things are getting a little bit better on the COVID-19 front.
Right.
So, and that's really not the issue. The issue now is we're so, like, the wheel has stopped spinning for so long that there's going to be a point somewhere that they run out of food. It's already happened in different places around the world.
Yep.
So in New York, food runs out.
We can talk about food in a second. I don't think this is about food. I think this is about just social order breakdown.
Well, it wasn't even really about food. It's not the pandemic anymore is what we have to fear.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. It's it's this kind of stuff. It's what happens after because the wheel has stopped moving.
Right.
Yep.
And it's funny when I see all these memes where they're like, "Oh no, the economy." You see the one Elon Musk tweeted?
Which one?
It's like the Earth, and there's like a comet ripped straight through the Earth, and the Earth is blowing up, and there's an astronaut on the moon, and he goes, "Oh no, the economy." And then someone posted under it the dinosaurs looking up at the asteroid slamming Earth, and they go, "Oh no, the economy." It's a funny meme.
That's funny, yeah.
But it's also like people really don't get it when Trump comes out and says the economy. Like, there's that other meme. Remember that one where it's like the trolley is on a single track?
Yeah.
And it's headed for, it's like you can stop the trolley at any time, but it would result in a loss of profits for the trolley company.
Right.
It's really funny. But what people don't get, man, is that you got all these people who have no access to the economy anymore.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna sit around.
Right.
They're gonna go out and they're gonna. I'm willing to bet we will see. I mean, you know what, man? It's a stupid statement. We're already seeing looting.
We're already seeing it.
Police said 254 businesses have been targeted between March 12th, the day the state of emergency order was issued, and March 31st. This is up from 145 burglaries recorded for the same time period last year. What we are seeing is that criminals are specifically targeting cash businesses, supermarkets, and bodegas, dude.
Yep, looting.
What do you steal from a bodega?
Food,
Dude.
cigarettes, the things that they really want.
This is not even the segment we were going to do on the food shortage.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what they're talking about.
But that it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
That New York is like where we're going to see it all happen first.
Yep. And here's what people don't realize. We got some good news. You mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Hospitalizations in New York are way down. Intubations are in the negative, meaning they're taking people off ventilators more than they're putting them on. That's just New York.
Yeah.
There's still some places that haven't locked down at all. Some cities. There are people out, worshiping on Easter. Now, I fully respect First Amendment. You have a right to do so.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if in a couple of weeks you're going to see a whole bunch of people get sick, and then you're going to see a bunch of snooty people on Twitter laughing, going like, "Yeah, told you so." Yeah, well, you know what? I think it's going to happen. It's no coincidence that it's about 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks since the hard lockdown in New York. Mm-hmm. Now we're seeing hospitalizations go down because the incubation period was around 2 weeks.
Yep.
So in that time period, things got really bad. NYPD, 20% were calling off. All these stores were boarding up their doors and windows. What do you think happens to the rest of the country now as this thing starts sweeping through? It's going to happen a lot more in a lot more places.
Yeah.
Exactly. The looting's going to get worse for sure.
But what do you do?
Even in New York, it's going to get worse.
What do you do?
What do you explain that question?
So we live fairly close to a bunch of supermarkets.
Okay.
Like, what would you do if a bunch of people were, showing up, throwing bricks and running around grabbing stuff?
I would hide behind you and push you out the door.
No, I mean, like, we're not going to walk into the riot. You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
But like, at what point do you say, like, I don't mean like you personally, but like for the people watching or listening especially, at what point do you say, like, we got to go?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, I got a ton of emails already.
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago, month ago, before they even locked down. They were like, dude, you got that van, you got to get in, you got to get out. And I'm like, well, hold on, right? Nothing's happening yet.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing looting. This is what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
So I had, family and friends hit me up saying, like, I'm hearing it's getting really, really bad in New Jersey. I hope you're taking care and being safe. And I'm like, yeah, we're fine. We're fine, right?
Yeah.
We went to the store. Then we go to the Home Depot the other day, and they stopped us 30 feet in front of the building, and they were like, no, stop. You need masks. And I was like, we have to have them? Like, you can't come in without a mask. So now we're seeing, like, all of these other businesses are shuttered. They're taking things very serious. Everybody was wearing a mask. People took them off when they got outside. So I kind of feel like I don't know where the line is. There's looting happening in New York. Maybe we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, at least for New York.
Yeah.
Maybe things will get better. But if we're already looking at, a dramatic increase in commercial burglaries, they call it, which I just call looting, are we at the point where it's like, this is the warning? We already heard the president saying, I'm going to quarantine these states, maybe. And then we were like, oh man, what do we do? And then he came out and said, no, I'm not going to do it. And we went, oh, okay, we were fine, right? Was that like the shot across the bow where it's like, heads up, this is going to happen?
Yeah, maybe.
And then we ignored it.
Well, I mean, if 254 businesses were targeted when they did a soft quarantine, if they did a hard quarantine, guaranteed those numbers will
Go up?
Go up, yeah, I think so.
Wouldn't they go down if the police are forcing people into their homes?
I mean, there's not that many police officers in New York.
And then 20% are out.
And a bunch of them
So
have COVID already.
There's
exactly.
like, officially, I think the number is around 36,000, but there's 3 shifts.
Yeah.
So at any one time, you've got just over 10K.
Right.
I think there's 3 shifts. I don't know anything about the police department.
But for the people who are interested in commercial burglaries, when you tell the world we're shutting down everything, you're telling them no one's going to be at that business.
Yep.
That business is going to be closed.
Maybe that's why they're saying
so
burglary
our plans
for
are
now.
going to go through, you
Right,
know?
Exactly.
But maybe that's why they're calling it a burglary right now.
Right, because it's locked and they're not breaking in the traditional sense and looting it. I mean, looting and burglary they're two sides of the same coin.
Right. Yeah, I would say in a lockdown, it's a loot.
Yeah.
But I get it, But my bigger question is, like, I really don't think we're going to get up right now after this show and load up the van and dip out to, like, middle of America to, like, get away from the chaos. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be a wave out away from New York, away from, like, where it hit the hardest first, if New York's already coming down, that means the rest of the country, it's going to be a wave. They're going to have spikes. People don't know that they have it, so
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where New York might not be that bad of a place to be anymore because it is locked down. No, I'm not saying I want to be there.
I would not want to be there, dude.
But if the supply chain doesn't get broken, that's really the key. If stores still get their stuff, people can still go shopping and get their usual food items, and people survive through, the worst of this, then we're going to come out of it fine. But if the supply chains get broken...
It is broken.
In certain places in New York.
No, everywhere.
Everywhere it is.
It's getting bad.
Is it?
It's getting real bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Feels like you know something I don't.
Well,
yeah.
so we've been looking at in a bunch of other countries, like in Italy, for instance, in Sicily.
Yeah.
We've seen this coming. So let me wrap up this thought first, and we'll jump over to the food one because we have this ready to go. I feel like, Trump comes out and says we're going to quarantine these 3 states. And we had a conversation. Do we stick around? Because we're in the South. We're not in the North. We're not where we're not where it's hit. It would be silly to say that if you're in the state, you're in the place that's hit. That's not the case. Because you could be in Connecticut and be in one of the worst hit areas. You can be in New Hampshire, be totally fine. You can be in North Jersey and you are in it. And South Jersey, nothing's going on over here. So we were thinking like maybe it would be smart to leave. Also, maybe it's irresponsible. But Trump wasn't going to quarantine where we were at. He wanted to do North Jersey, like that whole area. And so that was the point where we were like, should we go now? Shot across the bow. They warned us. We said no. We're seeing lootings go up. We say no. I really don't think there's anything that's going to convince us that now's the time to go until it's too late. I think so. I really don't think anything will happen where we're going to be like, time to get in the van and go head to the middle of the country or something.
I agree.
Until literally it's at the front door and we're like, oops.
Possibly.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's the conundrum. So food shortages, I think, are coming.
I agree.
I absolutely think so.
Definitely they are.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.